Hello there, viewer. So, as you can see, this is the road ahead, and I have watched it on my personal account. I haven't watched it on my YouTube account. Hence why there isn't a a massive dislike to this video. And it's probably a good thing that they have only done this as unlisted, so you have to have the link, because I think otherwise, I think if other gaming communities heard about this, then I think it'll probably be a really big bit of uproar, because it's very similar to a few games of changing the meta and not for the good, because they think that there's an unbalance at the moment, which I don't think anyone has ever thought that. I don't think anyone has ever thought that this game was unbalanced because I can defeat a galactic legend with a non-galactic legend character. And I've definitely been in positions in Grand Arena where I've lost Grand Arenas because I do not have a suitable counter to a galactic legend, and it's a horrible feeling. It really is horrible, because you just sort of like, I can't do anything. It just kills the game. It kills the game, and you just lose interest. You just sort of like, you do a few battles, and then you just sort of like, I just don't really want to deal with it. I just want to move on. I want to play a game mode where I can actually compete, and this, I think, is a big problem of, well, I've been in that situation, and there's probably a fair few other people that have been in that situation, and I think it would be really unfair if there's more people that are in that situation of, well, I don't have a galactic legend, that's me, done. What else can I do in the game? Because that's effectively what happens, and we've definitely, my guild has definitely been in that situation before with the territorial war event, where you face like a wall of galactic legends, and my guild is not the biggest, and it's definitely not one of the ones in the top 50, and we only have like 2 galactic legends in my guild, and yeah, so there was no way that we could compete, and that's another awful thing. And I don't think that CG are really thinking about it, because basically for every other normal, like, pick up and play, like, for a few minutes player, that's going to be an awful experience. And then you've got people like me that do it a lot in a day, and basically that's probably going to put me off from playing. Every hour I play about probably 10 minutes or something, and that's probably going to put me off, because I'm just sort of like, well, what am I building towards? I was building towards Jedi Knight Luke, because that's another character that I was hoping to have in my roster that could counter a galactic legend, because I'm trying to build up galactic legend counters, and then this happens. So I've now got a month basically warning of, well, this change is going to happen, and I'm sort of like, well, in a month I've now got to start grinding and gearing up, like First Order, for example, to get Galactic Legend Kylo, who is a pretty good Galactic Legend anyway, but that's going to take me months and months to get him. And then once I do get him, it's going to then take months and months again, because you've got all the guild... No, it's not guild... It's like the event token things to then gear him up, and all that sort of malarkey. And it's just, it's just going to take way too long. Like, that was the whole point, and I do wonder whether that is the point that maybe a few people have missed, is that it's actually cheaper and more effective to go for Darth Vader and General Anakin Skywalker, which that doesn't sound right, but maybe it is, because that's a tough event. And then you've got Jedi Knight Luke. It's actually easier to grind towards those characters that can then compete against Galactic Legend if you then have a relevant lineup. And you could basically gain an advantage from that. And I suppose that's that's wrong, that you're basically punishing people for being logical in the, well, it takes me months and months to grind for a Galactic Legend. Actually, it only takes me like 5 months to get Jedi Knight Luke. I'm just going to do that instead, and then once I have him, I can actually compete. I can actually sort of put up a decent fight, and I wonder whether that's I wonder whether that's the negative. That is a negative. Because where was he? He was in here somewhere, wasn't he? It's yeah, it's not good. It really isn't good, and it is just targeted at stopping the cleverness of the community, because it's the community that has really banded together to help each other on, right, there's a Galactic Legend, who can we use to take it out? And it's for the benefit of everybody. And they weren't happy with YouTubers back in the day using their test accounts to work out, well, which characters are worth spending loads of money on. And obviously there was loads of other stuff that happened behind the scenes as well. But you do wonder whether, so we lost that ability. Arnold T101 now has to spend his real money, well, it's more people that donate money, to then spend in the game to then test and gear up these new characters to find out whether they're good or not. Whereas back in the day, you had the test account when you didn't have to spend money, well, for the YouTuber. Yeah, and that was a really good, back in the day. I liked those streams, but now it just highlights how expensive this game is. And then they pull this maneuver on us, and it's so disappointing, because this I was really excited about. This I really want this capital ship. They can listen to us, and maybe this is another situation of they need to listen to us on this as well. That basically what they're moving towards is going to kill off PvP. There is a potential that it could be killing off PvE in Galactic Conquest, or even in I think the assault battles. No, I don't think they do have Galactic Legends. I think Galactic Legends are basically, you're only going to see them in the Journey Guide, Galactic Conquest, the TW event with other guilds, and then Grand Arena Championship with other players. So there's 4 game modes that you would lose basically if you didn't have a Galactic Legend, and that's major, because there's not really that many game modes in the game that you can just pick up and play a lot. Most of the other ones, I do wonder whether they'll have to do more seasonal events more regularly to make up for the fact that most people don't have Galactic Legends. We've got to give them a game modes to play and use, but I doubt that they'll do that, because obviously you get free character shards and all that sort of like stuff. So I doubt that they'll do that. But that would be the logical thing to do, would be to give people other game modes to play until they get a Galactic Legend. But I'm too kind. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's a business that they're trying to run. And then, yeah, going back to other things I'm looking forward to, like Darth Maul sounds pretty awesome, but I am a little bit concerned about when they were talking about, well, if you paired him up with Darth Vader, and that's pretty much, again, what's happened with the new Ahsoka with Galactic Legend Kenobi, is that basically there is no non-galactic counter for that team, and that is very concerning. So what other characters are they going to be adding into the game that will basically mean that Galactic Legend Rey, Kylo, Palpatine and Luke, all those other Galactic Legends, what other characters are they going to introduce to stop you from being able to counter, and maybe that should have been the step that they did, rather than telling us, oh, we're going to be basically nerfing the whole defense stuff, and well, it was buffing or nerfing. Basically, what they should have done is, instead of effectively nerfing like Darth Vader, for example, they should have just been going, look, we've just got to add new characters that will stop non-galactic legend counters, because I do wonder whether the knock-on effect of Darth Vader being nerfed, like with the whole defense penetration thing, is that going to screw up now my counters to certain lineups, like the whole CLS team or a Geonosian team? Maybe not, but I'm just throwing out the question there of, is it actually going to affect my existing counters for existing lineups? I thought that was very interesting about how Darth Maul was going to get like the Mandalorian trait thing, and then Lord Vader. I'm so looking forward to this, but I'm so far away from it, and they need to throw us a bone in how we can get relic characters quicker. They need to throw us a bone, because it's just getting ridiculous of how many relic 5s or 7s or even 8s that we need to get now to get Galactic Legends, and it's just, for a free-to-play like me, there is no way I'm going to be able to get most of these characters, and it then puts on that sort of pressure of, well, if I can't get these cool characters I want to play with, then what's the point in playing the game? They need to find a balance in that way. So going back to my earlier point of, I think the solution that they're trying to do is trying to stop maybe the mixed matching of different characters and different factions, and to that I think that they just need to make the leader bonuses more better for all the factions, if that's the sort of thing that they're trying to stop. Because I personally, I do find it very, I've got a little bit of OCD in that everything has to be proper. Everything has to be straight lines and all that sort of thing. Everything has to be done in a certain way. So when I have to take like an Empire team and then split it up with like Sith Empire or something, it does break my head. it does nag. And maybe that's the sort of thing that they're trying to stop, but I don't believe that the game is unbalanced. I quite like seeing the whole sort of like, well, could like Darth Vader take out like a whole Ewok team? Like, those are the sort of things that you want to sort of see in a film, but you can't. You could sort of see it in a comic. So doing it in this game is sort of like the next best thing of, and you can do it like repeatedly as well. And like, it's like that sort of that lore, like who's actually the better character, and it's actually, I quite like seeing that whole sort of Darth Vader defeating Galactic Legend Rey, because it's sort of like, well, in a bizarre way, I think lore wise, probably Vader would defeat Rey. So it makes sense in that sort of like, you're playing with the lore, you're playing with a game where you can do that, and I think it's a little bit wrong where they're taking it away from us of being able to do that sort of thing. It's a little bit like top trumps now of, well, my football star has like 99 on shooting ability, whereas your striker only has like 50, so therefore I'm just going to keep on saying that stat because I know that stat is the best in the whole deck or something of top trumps. And that's not fun. That's not playing a game. You've broken a game so that you can continually win. And that obviously is probably part of the reason why me and my brother stopped playing top trumps, because we learned the decks and we just used the best stats on certain cards all the time. But I digress. Of sort of like, it's that sort of like, it's a video game effectively. You should be allowed to do what you want to do, And yeah, I do think that these changes are probably not for the best. Probably not for the best. Um, I just hope that if the community can band together, maybe we need to do like a petition or something saying that if you are going to make these changes, Galactic Legend rosters or players can only face Galactic Legend players themselves, because obviously I've come up against Galactic Legends and I've not been able to clear them and I've lost. And basically, if I keep on having that happen, well, I'm just going to stop playing Grand Arena Championships, or I'm even going to stop playing Territory War. And obviously, my guild is probably going to then suffer, because then the guild isn't going to get all those rewards, and then people are not just going to turn up for them. And then we've lost a gear grinding element for the whole guild. Like being able to get some of those gear pieces and Zetas was really useful, whether you won or lost. So I suppose maybe you could still turn up if you lose anyway, but it's still sort of like you're just turning up just to get a bit of gear, but you're going to be beaten up for 24 hours solidly. It's not fun. Yeah, it's not a good direction for the game. And I do think, going back to the earlier point, I do think that this is a direct reaction to, well, people are going, it takes about 9 months to get Galactic Legend, but it only takes me about 5 months to get Jedi Knight Luke, and I can still compete with that person with a Galactic Legend in Grand Arena, so why on earth should I go for a Galactic Legend? And I wonder whether they've seen that people spend more money on the Galactic Legend journey, and that's maybe this is the reason why they've decided to do a push for, well, you have to have a Galactic Legend to take out a Galactic Legend. You can't do non-Galactic Legends anymore, because they don't see the money revenue going up. So from a business point of view, it sort of makes sense, but then from a lore point of view, like, I want to see Jedi Knight Luke beating up Kylo Ren, Galactic Legend. Like, that, in a lore way, sort of makes sense, whereas The Last Jedi didn't. But then again, I suppose Galactic Legend Luke probably should be able to, but his Galactic Legend is pretty naff, so it's not a good character to grind for. I just don't see, yeah, Luke, Galactic Legend Luke being good. And I think it's just wrong. It's just wrong. So I suppose on at the end, I think there needs to be a push by the community to band together and say, you can't do these changes, but if you do these changes, you need to do some really big rejinking of the matchmaking, because otherwise people are just going to stop playing certain game modes. So I think we need to band together as a community. I think that's what we need to do. So I'm going to make that probably part of the title of my video. We need to band together to fight and to make a stand, right? They need to hear us, and they have heard us before. So hopefully they'll take note and do the relevant changes. So probably quite a long video, this one. So yeah, hopefully you agree with a lot of what I was saying, and yeah, hopefully we can all get together and make them hear our voices. Because at the end of the day, it could be a massive exodus of players leaving, and that's not good for the game, and it's definitely not good for them, because then that could speed up the game stopping. Like, the game could basically end because of what they've done, where people have left, and that's not a good move. So they need to throw us a bone to keep this game alive. And yeah, I really want the game to be alive, because I do secretly enjoy it, so there's that. So yeah, end note. So we need to band together, but they need to hear our voices. So I'll see you next time, hopefully not with like another video like this. I think this is the first time I've ever done this, so hopefully we can get something sorted as a community. So, until next time, bye.
I does what I likes and I likes. I does what I likes and I likes. What I do. I does what I likes and I likes.
Always with you, what cannot be done.
It's like doing here. Bad idea. Yeah.